1916, the Military Service Act introduced severe punishment for men who failed to obey the call-up. For them not to serve, they had to prove they were exempt to a tribunal.
Abertillery future MP and government minister was sent to Dartmoor and Waynesway Scrubs after refusing to join up.
In 1916, a Newport teacher was sacked after refusing to join the army. As a young miner leader in Tredegar, Larry Benn was arrested after failing to respond to his call-up.
Civilians working in essential industries were given badges to show that they were exempt from serving. In July 1916, 2/3 of 2nd South Wales Border were killed or wounded on one day.
In 1917 and 1918, Cub outbrought many more miners in the armed forces.
In 1918, 45,000 miners decided to strike and spread from Tredegar. Due to the strike, it caused problems as coal was vital to the war effort.
In 1914 to 1916, grocery prices doubled.
Local farms were taken over by armed forces to make them hand over milk.
There was a potato riot in Pontypool Market.
People from Abertillery had to use a gun to stop an angry crowd.
In June 1917, D.A. Thomas was given the job of food controller. Women during the war. Women were used to work in the shipyard.
Women during the war. During the war, many women died.
80% of the women in Newport Shell Factory were female. Women were found to be splendid workers and far better than men.
During the war, everything was managed by women.
All rugby matches were stopped.
Something and shooting were all allowed to continue.
Newport County joined the original wartime league.
Johnny Bosch was an army gymnast, member and staff of and champion boxer.
Famous sportsmen during the war included Charlie Pritchard, Cliff Price, Johnny Basham. During the war, many people were victorious. Crossing, we would like to introduce them.
William Williams, VC from Chepstow, stood in the water to help troops land from the River Clyde onto the beaches of Gallipoli.
Angus Buchanan, VC former head boy of Monmouth School, rescued injured men under heavy fire.
James Finn, VC from Cumtillery, carried 2 injured men to safety.
George Onions, VC, lead a group of men who took 200 prisoners. John Williams, VC from Club, was the most highly decorated Welsh soldier of the war.
Over 500,000 people that blind and get soldiers have died in war.
Many more were permanently left, seriously injured or disabled.
Many families lost more than one member. 3 Abertillery brothers were killed.
A wife from Abergavenny lost her husband and her son on the same day in 1915.
Among these are Tredegar War Memorial.
First Monmouthshire window at St George's Church.
British Legion Parade Carillon 1935.
My great nana in World War II. My great nanny Jane was born in 1936. The war started in 1939. My nan was only 3 years old. When she started school, she had to take a gas mask with her everywhere. They were kept in little brown boxes. In the schoolyard, there was a shelter to get inside in case enemy planes came over to drop bombs. In Nan's house, she had to put up blackout blinds so that no lights could be seen from outside. Even all the lampposts had to be turned off. They needed food coupons to buy most things. My nana was 8 years old when the war ended. She remembers lots of parties, singing and dancing in the street because they were all so happy the war was over.
Over 5,000 Gwent soldiers were killed.
Turn